Good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for finding time to be with us today. The show is Africa Showdown, where we get to bring you the latest and discuss some of the most pressing issues from the continent of Africa. My name is Miriam Ogutu, and as we all know, Kenya is gearing up to its elections with just one day to go. So that has been our subject of discussion, and we've been paying attention to this for the last couple of days. And finally, now the countdown is closely coming to an end. So this is a very important event in this country. And so today we shall continue with our special coverage on the Kenyan elections. And yesterday marked the last day for campaigns with the two leading coalitions and all other presidential candidates, holding mega rallies from across the country, with the two major ones in the city, one at the Nyayo National Stadium and the other one at the Kasarani Moi International, Stadium, and with all those two stadiums were thronged by their supporters. So thank you so much. We shall be looking at some of the events that happened yesterday and what was said, and as that form basis of our conversation this afternoon. Let me just take us through the headlines this afternoon, and then I'll bring in my panelists and we shall start our conversation. The Sunday Standard, the main headline, Ruto Raila's last call. It has been a race like no other on the campaign trail for the quartet of Raila Odinga, William Ruto, George Wajakoya and Wahiga Mwaure. Yesterday, they made their final pitches, touching on, among others, their track record, the economy, governance, education, and how they will change the country. And now it is up to you, the voter, to make the right choice on Tuesday. That coverage is on page 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 on the Sunday Standard. And of course, the main pictorials are those rallies. The first one that happened at, Kasarani, and the down one that happened at Nyayo Stadium that William Ruto was leading. On the Sunday Nation, the main headline, Raila Ruto final pitch, with the same thing. And they are just quoting what Raila said and also quoting what Ruto said down there. And that is what we have basically. As I said, this is a very important event in this country. And that is why it has been given the prominence it has this afternoon and of course in today's papers. So before we get into our conversations, I believe I do have some other headlines from around the other countries in Africa. And the Citizen on Sunday, that is from Tanzania, the scramble for seats as raised to EALA, that is the East African Legislative Assembly, holds up. That is the main headline. And victims urged to preserve criminal evidence and lawyers call for transparency in the judiciary. Still, that is on the Citizen Sunday. And the Nation from Nigeria, senators move to drop impeachment threat against Buhari. Okay. And then the Guardian from Nigeria, turbulence at home, political leaders' children in smooth sail abroad. And then the Independent from the UK, Archie fought right until the very end and funds for struggling families must double. The Sunday Telegraph from the UK, hosepipes must be banned now, says Minister. And the Standard from Zimbabwe, Mnangagwa matches expose ZANU-PF finds, and the Daily News from Zimbabwe as well, Heroes Acre, most fitting for Big Josh, Dube insists. And then the Sunday Vision from Uganda, Museveni speaks out on Muhonzi, that is his son, and also his perceived successor there. So we are joined by Dr. Matsanga. Doctor, very good afternoon to you.
Afternoon, Miriam. How are you?
I'm okay.
Are you hearing me?
Yes.
Thank you very much. I will be joining you very comfortably tomorrow. But for now, I just want to wish you good luck. My score for yesterday's the speech it goes to Raila Amolo Odinga. Thank you very much. The speech writers were excellent. They did a very good, hammered points. But at the moment, I'm in a very uncomfortable situation where I cannot speak much. But I will be joining you tomorrow. If I arrive in a place where there is safety, Miriam, I will come back to you. But thank you very much. Continue with the show. And I greet all of you on the show right now, those who have joined you from Gladwell, Tawish, Javan, Douglas, Kaptanui from Nakuru, all of you. Thank you very much. I'll join you shortly if I am available, but for now I'm on an external wing. But thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much. So we are also joined by Samuel Tawish from Nairobi. Samuel Tawish, a very good afternoon to you.
Very good afternoon indeed to you, Miriam Ogutu from our communication headquarters. Good afternoon to Dr. David Masanga. Good afternoon to my colleague correspondents drawn from all over the country, and of course our viewers watching this program across Africa and the rest of the world. My pleasure to join you on Africa Showdown this afternoon.
Right, good afternoon to you, and good afternoon, Jevan Karanja.
Good morning, good afternoon to you, Miriam, our viewers, and all the panel. It's our pleasure being here on Punchline Africa Television this good afternoon.
All right, and we're also joined by Kiptanui Savanya all the way from Nakuru. Kiptanui, good afternoon to you.
And good afternoon to you, Miriam. Good afternoon to my fellow correspondents. Good afternoon, Dr. Matsanga. I'm just from village and I'm back to Nakuru. It is pleasure. It is actually a pleasure. I'm happy to join you this afternoon, Miriam. Thank you.
Is that your voting place? Are you voting in Nakuru?
Yeah, I'm voting in Kilimo Primary School inside Egerton University in Joro constituency in Nakuru County. I had actually rushed village, Miriam, to tell people one or two things to convince some other people to vote for Raila Odinga, and I was there. I will bring you up to date after subsequent as we are moving on with this show.
All right.
This afternoon.
Much appreciated. Thank you so much. And last but certainly not least, we're joined by Gladwell Kiragu from either Kiambu or Nairobi. She's usually either in one of those, she's lucky. She can join us from either of the counties any other time of the day. And today, I don't know where she's joining us from. Gladwell, good afternoon to you. And where are you today?
A very good afternoon to you, Miriam. Good afternoon to my fellow panelists. Good afternoon to our viewers. Coming live from Kiambu County, Juja constituency, Kalimoni Ward.
All right. Today you're in Thika. Okay. Thank you so much. So I'm sure yesterday we all had an opportunity to watch what was happening, the last leg of campaigns by all candidates. I think even Wahiga, I saw him somewhere promising to bring down the cost of living, bring down the prices of fuel, bring down the prices of unga and all that, and Wajakoya, and also, of course, those big two rallies that we saw in Nyayo Stadium and also at Kasarani. On page 6 on the Sunday Nation, before we get into your opinion, it was more of a celebration of what I have no clue than a campaign rally at the final public event of the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition at the Moi International Sports Center in Kasarani yesterday. In his speech, presidential race frontrunner Raila Odinga used the moment to rally the country by painting a conciliatory picture of a more hopeful, peaceful and prosperous future for all, though he could not resist a few jabs at his main opponent, Deputy President William Ruto. It is true, the Kalenjin vote with their interest, the Kikuyu with their fears, and the Luo with their passion. It is an ugly and irregular tribalization of politics, but if you were in Kasarani yesterday, you would know it is true. In the Rift Valley, the overriding political consideration is the protection of land and ring fencing elected posts to avoid being dominated by immigrant communities. In Central, the protection of privileged access to all the means of wealth and public service jobs. But among the lakeside communities which form the support nucleus of former Prime Minister Raila Odinga's coalition, it is about an all-consuming love for the leader. And so before we just even get into, I think the writer is describing to us what we saw yesterday, and that is Mutumba Matthew writing. It seems more like an opinion piece. I don't know, what did you make of the events that culminated yesterday? I'll start with you, Samuel Tawish.
Very well, thank you so much, Miriam, and thank you to all our viewers. Indeed, Miriam, what happened yesterday, a culmination of the campaign that we have witnessed for the last about 3 months or so. by the politicians in the country, especially the leading presidential candidates, that is Raila Amolo Odinga of the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition, and on the other side, the Kenya Kwanza, led by Deputy President William Ruto. And yesterday, just like you've alluded to, was the last opportunity for them to make their last submissions to the people of Kenya, and more so to those who are going to determine their fate when they go to vote on Tuesday, that is the 9th of August this year. And basically, Miriam, you're asking about really who scored, and I think it is in the it's in everyone's judgment really to conclude that Raila Amolo Odinga's Azimio la Umoja did score high in terms of attendance in the stadium, because also you understand that comparatively Kasarani Stadium has a relatively higher capacity compared to Nyayo Stadium. Nyayo Stadium, I believe, has about 30 or so thousand allowance when it comes to seating allowance, and when you get to Kasarani, you'll get over 60,000. And for Azimio la Umoja being in a position even to fill up the stadium to full to its capacity, and even in the play field, it can clearly tell you how best Raila Odinga is a great mobilizer when it comes to supporters. And Deputy President William Ruto, on the other hand, equally attempted as much as he could, but again, you could clearly see there were empty seats at Nyayo National Stadium. That said and done, it is not more what it is important to us this afternoon. The thing is, listening into the speeches that were being given yesterday by the key players, you listen into Martha Karua and Raila Amolo Odinga, and on the other hand, listening into Rigathi Gachagua and Deputy President William Ruto, you can tell a sharp contrast between these two teams, Miriam, between these leading presidential candidates and their running mates. On one side, the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition really was so much on issues, was so much on the agenda they have for the people of Kenya, was so much on, they are stressing much on how they intend to actually fulfill their manifesto and the pledge they are making to the people of Kenya if they are granted, if they are voted in come the 9th of August. They were elaborating what kind of strategies they're having or putting in place to make sure they're going to deal with the dragon called corruption, how they're going to continue with the unity of purpose that President Uhuru Kenyatta initiated. And that tells you clearly that this is a team that when it comes to the issue of credentials, when it comes to the issue of integrity, when it comes to the issue of competence and qualification, when it comes to the demeanor, when it comes to the posture, and every other aspect that determines who you will vote for when it comes to the 9th of August, you can clearly conclude that Raila Odinga did steal the show yesterday. On the other hand, Deputy President William Ruto and the brigade concentrated so much on what has been what has characterized their campaign for the last 4 years. Just but attacks to the head of state, hurling insults to President Uhuru Kenyatta, and to the extension, even public servants, junior public servants, the likes of Interior CS Matiang'i, and also Karanja Kibicho, the commissioners, including even the chiefs and sub-chiefs. So you cannot understand, assuming, God forbid, the Kenya Kwanza wins the coming election, Miriam. So are we going really to have a country? Because these people appear to have vengeance and bitterness and anger with everybody and everyone, regardless. As long as you do not support their cause, then you are automatically their enemy. Miriam, I don't think we need to stretch our politics to that level, where political competition and political competition and in search of political power does not necessarily need to translate into such hatred of such magnitude that Deputy President William Ruto and the brigade were depicting yesterday. But we were quite not surprised, Miriam, because this is what William Ruto and the brigade have been famed for all this long. People we know so well about their character, we know about their the kind of vengeance they have, especially to those they perceive their enemies politically. So I wasn't quite surprised listening to Deputy President William Ruto yesterday. He did not even mention a single thing of what he was going to do, assuming he was going to be elected, in terms of alleviating the poverty that the people of Kenya are facing, in terms of uniting the people of Kenya, in terms of reducing the cost of living. You cannot clearly see the main message coming from the Kenya Kwanza Brigade. So to me, in a nutshell, Miriam, the Azimio la Umoja coalition led by Raila Amolo Odinga and Martha Karua performed exemplary well, and I think they're going to get the nod of Kenyans come the 9th of August when they eventually go to vote in their presidential candidate under other respective positions on Tuesday. I submit.
All right, thank you so much. Jev and Karanja, your observation of what happened yesterday. Javen?
Yeah, thank you very much, Miriam. Indeed, it was a very interesting day yesterday as we came to the culmination of 2022 politics and the campaigns. And it was clear that we expected a lot from our politicians, and you could see they were in a very jovial mood, both in Nyayo and in Kasarani. Both presidential candidates, the two front runners, they were very excited, and everyone hoped that they will clinch the seat on 9th of August. And they really tried to explain much on what they do to the people of Kenya. And Raila Amolo Odinga really got into details on what is expected of him if he assumes office as the next head of state. Interesting to note was also the attendance. Kasarani was really well attended. It was full to capacity compared to Nyayo Stadium. But all said and done, the real numbers will be known at the close of business on 9th of August. But something very interesting that I noted yesterday was that both presidential, the two front runners, they were all keen that if they win, they will stretch a hand of appreciation to their worthy competitors. Raila Amolo Odinga was very clear that if he assumes office on 9th of August, the first business that he'll do is to stretch a hand of goodwill to his worthy competitor William Ruto and ensure that they work together in a harmonious relationship to ensure that they take this country to the next level. And that is the kind of atmosphere that we need as Kenyans, because we have seen the tremendous progress that has been achieved courtesy of the handshake between President Uhuru Kenyatta and former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. And if Raila wins and he does the same to William Ruto, then we will expect the same kind of magnificent, peaceful environment that gives room to development and growth to prevail in our country, having a continuation. And that is what we hope as Kenyans. And they all urge their supporters to maintain peace before and after elections. And that is something that we have been amplifying here on Punchline Africa Television every day, in and out, that we need to ensure that we remain peaceful, we remain calm, and we give IBC and our courts an ample time to deliver on their mandate. And that is what we expect from all Kenyans. And finally, they encourage their supporters to come out in large numbers and vote for them. And we know, Miriam, if we don't come out to vote, then there's nothing much that we can expect. Because if we don't vote, then we don't know who really carries the day. Therefore, it is our humble appeal that all Kenyans who have registered as voters to come out in large numbers, vote for their candidates, so that we can sort this issue out, so that we can have a winner at the end of the day. But Kenyans should note that whichever side that we carry the day, Kenya will continue being our country. Kenya will continue being our home. Therefore, we have a responsibility to protect the land that we call our home. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Kiptanui?
Thank you so much, Miriam, for this afternoon. It is actually the two rallies, or the final touches of the two rallies. We saw a lot of things. Let me bring you to up to date from Friday. After in the afternoon hours, the candidate for Kenya Kwanza, William Ruto, was in Nakuru at Kenyatta Avenue. Has been known for political engagements. And actually, what surprised me, Miriam, is that people didn't even care. People were moving around. I asked even somebody what is happening. It's not like 2017. 2017, we got to Meja along to Kenyatta Avenue. People were so many. But what surprised me is that people were not there. People even, they didn't want even to go there. And then I asked one of the person, and he told me, William Ruto has been actually campaigning since for so many times around. And it actually, we've already made our decisions. And I remembered what my sister Gladwell said in Friday's show, that most of the people have made up their minds. and most of them you can no longer change the people around. Now, Miriam, it happened that I was in village. I told you I just arrived some few minutes from village, and I tried as much as possible to engage some people around the village. You know, in Nandi County, independent candidates, Miriam, are bringing a lot of chaos around there. You know, my home county actually is in Nandi County and is in Nandi Hills constituency. And Alfred Keter by Wednesday is member of parliament for Nandi Hills and independent. You see, there is actually a perception, Miriam, that I think these other polls that are not capturing. 80% of Nandi Hills constituency is covered by tea leaves, tea estates. We have Tibuare, we have a lot of tea estates around there. Who are these people who are working there? Luos, Luyas, 80% of non-Kalenjin who are working with those estates, they are actually blacking, and they have been actually by these machines. Miriam, you know, you remember a long time before the mechanization of tea blacking, before the machines were brought over there, people were actually blacking using their hands. And people are not happy. People are not happy actually. People have lost a lot of employment. But still, Miriam, still people are for Asimio. And I tried to ask some people about the rallies that was held there by Right Honorable Raila Odinga. And people, most of the people were saying that if actually we all of us voted for Raila Odinga in 2007 general election, that time it was called Arab Nibe. How is it that now we are being told that this guy is Muganga? How? And the same person who told us to vote for him, yeah, is the same person who is saying this young man is Muganga. What is happening? So there is a generality that I brought from Nandi, and most of the Asimio, surely most of the independent candidates are going through from that side. Let me come now to the two rallies, Miriam. Miriam, I saw somebody, I think maybe it was Chavan Karanja or Sion or Wesonga who commented on this timeline that Kasarani has a capacity of 60,000 people. You see, and it was actually full to the brim. It was full, so and then it was actually overflowed. And Nyayo 45,000, but there were no people there. Miriam, and I think there is a problem.
But to be fair, there was a huge crowd at Nyayo Stadium too. I think the photos that were initially being shared was during the early hours, you know, at Nyayo Stadium. So, to be fair.
Let me not go
More,
there.
maybe not in the same capacity as Kasarani, but they did have a good amount of supporters there.
It's all right.
It's
all right. It's all right. Let me go.
Yes.
Let me comment on what these people actually was telling us. Miriam, so okay, all right, good. Now you see, most of the we got a lot of differences, by the way. At the swing of, you see, even the showcase, how people from Azimio and Miriam was going towards the stadium was a different thing from how the other guys who are in Nyayo were actually entering. You could have seen where the government is. And most of the people, not even me myself, I am of the people that the government was actually in Kasarani Miriam. And there is one thing which was so hilarious. I think I also shared without knowing whether it was true, that an eagle captured the drone. And people are saying in social media that the drone which was actually in Kasarani was captured by the eagle. But thank God, I saw somebody somewhere saying that that eagle is not even found in Kenya. So you see, it was actually hilarious. And another thing is that Dennis Itumbi, our brother Dennis Itumbi, and I think Daniel Wesonga will actually advise him one time. He's spreading even a propaganda which is not with unfound propaganda that still people in Nakuru. I don't know why these people are so much interested in Nakuru. But Miriam, I have my own dream. I have actually put my dream and I gave some, I think 10 of them to most of my people so that they will wake up on Tuesday. Actually, on Tuesday we will have only two things. One is either to elect people who will take this country to greater heights, or we elect people who will come and still continue looting this country, Miriam. I submit.
All right. Very well. Captain Gladwin Kiragu, your thoughts on yesterday's last rallies? Gladwell.
Thank you so much, Miriam. I'll start by saying that what Kiptanui has said is true.
Which
I
part?
actually didn't. Let me tell you on which part. I didn't watch actually what was happening on TV because we were on training on the elections, but I happened to be on both rallies at the end of it, and I can tell you, the Nyayo Stadium was only full on one side. That is the front side, which was facing the dais and where the cameras were focusing. The other side was completely empty. So in short, the stadium was 3.25 empty. So Court Kiptanu is saying, and the photos circulating, Miriam, it is true. They are not edited photos. I was there. I passed by. When I came to Kasarani Stadium, you couldn't even get a chance to enter. The place was so crowded, even the outside part of it. So Miriam, as I've told you, I didn't have the time to listen to what the both of them said because we were on election training. But at least that one I witnessed on the capacity. That one I witnessed, and it is true that Azimia will take it very early in the morning this time round, Miriam.
Mm-hmm. So you feel the crowd will translate to votes?
Miriam, you definitely can't attend somebody's rally that you can't waste your time for somebody you definitely won't vote. That one is impossible. And you know the love for Raila it has not only been shown now, it is since Kitambo. And Miriam, I can't waste my time go listen to somebody I definitely know I won't vote for. And we can't say it was for clout chasing. No, that was what Trasemanga. This is now the real matter on the ground.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, we'll get the details into what was said yesterday, just a bit of it. Of course, for Kenya Kwanza, they took the opportunity. Let me just read a bit of that on page 3 on the Sunday Nation. The Deputy President William Ruto yesterday ended a 4-year grueling campaign, confident he had convinced a majority of the 22 million voters to give him the mandate to form the next government. On the final day of the campaign, Dr. Ruto, the United Democratic Alliance presidential candidate, and his Kenya Kwanza brigade made their final appeal to voters at Nyayo National Stadium, promising economic liberation and transformation. In a series of rallies whose highlight was the meeting at Nyayo Stadium, Dr. Ruto and his running mate Rigathi Gachagua expressed confidence of winning the presidential vote. I stand confidently to say that we are witnessing history. They said we will not be in here in 2022, but here we are. They said we will not be on the ballot, but we will overcome. Enough is enough. Freedom is coming, Dr. Ruto said. He hit out at government officials opposed to his State House bid. The people of Kenya will prevail over the deep state and the system. On Tuesday, we will have a nation that leaves no Kenyan behind, he said. The DP outlined his economic blueprint should he become the country's 5th president, promising an inclusive government. And of course, with Mr. Gachagua, the DP criticized security officials for using administrators for political campaign and plotting to disrupt the general election. So they're still insisting on some of the claims that they've been making in the recent days. And of course, a lot of what they said, but majorly they criticized the government and the IEBC and the people who are trying to compromise free and fair elections in the country. We are joined by Daniel Wasonga from Nairobi. Daniel Wasonga, good afternoon to you.
Yes, a very good afternoon to you, Miriam Ogutu, at our headquarters in Nairobi. Good afternoon to our viewers who are tuning in this particular afternoon for the African Showdown. It is indeed my pleasure to be on the panel this particular afternoon.
All right, it's nice to have you. And please don't go. I can hear some very nice background sounds there. It's all good. But I'd like to get your thoughts, Daniel, on yesterday's rallies by Kenya Kwanza, by One Kenya Alliance, before we get into what Wajakoya and Agano Party also said. Remember, they also had their rallies yesterday. Daniel.
Thank you so much, Miriam. And of course, as a statistician, I always go with numbers, and they say numbers don't lie. And it was quite evident to begin with. The capacity for Nyayo Stadium is 45,000 people capacity. For Kasarani Stadium on the other side, it is 60,000 people, Miriam. And as you could see from the masses, from the live coverage, Nyayo Stadium was barely 2/3 full, So which means we had very, very few individuals. If you look on the contrary, whichever number we had in Kasarani Stadium, it was actually full to the brim. And another thing stood out for me, when some of the local media stations were doing interrogating, the people who had come for these two events, I realized that just by random choosing, the people who had come for Kenya Kwanza final rally were actually people outside Nairobi, whereas people who had come to Kasarani, the random sample from one of the local media stations were actually residents of Nairobi. And that tells you, in as much as Kenya Kwanza was actually grappling with a very, very small numbers of people in the stadium, they actually had also invested in ferrying these people from across the country. So that tells you, without ferrying people or these hired crowds that they are used to doing, Miriam, they will not have had maybe even a sizable crowd to put, at Nyayo Stadium. And therefore, that is why, Miriam, I believe, even these row that they were trying to bring in, that maybe perhaps it is perceived that the government was trying to deny them Nyayo Stadium, I think it was an excuse, in that they would have ended up saying, we had a number of huge crowds that actually drove the deep state into fear that we are denied to have Nyayo Stadium for ourselves. However, the reality of the matter is, even after being granted Nyayo Stadium a week to the event, they were not able to fill the stadium. And these are people who claim to be the controllers of Nairobi. They claim to control Kiambu County. Then why would the people not come from Kiambu County and fill up Nyayo Stadium? Miriam, bottom line, I believe these numbers are the true manifestation of whatever we are going to have on Tuesday, 9th of August, when the presidential ballot will be cast. And that will go a long way even in Nairobi seats, because now it is evident that Azimio la Umoja coalition has the majority support, enjoys majority of support in Nairobi and across the country. And therefore, nothing could be further from the truth. And I agree absolutely with my brother, Kiptan Wisovania. I agree with my sister, Gladwell Krago, that this is just a reflection of what is anticipated, because the numbers that will be tallied and be relayed on our television stations will actually be a generic of whatever we've been seeing into rallies. Even though, Miriam, we also have to be alive to the fact that we also have these hired crowds. We know of Rigathi Gachagwa's 2,000 women in Nyeri, who always are dressed in vitenge uniforms, and they go to every rally, and whenever they get into a rally and it all turns yellow, and they take photos, send on social media, and we've been seeing them even manipulating the crowds. A street which is 5 meters by 10 meters in Nyeri is actually expanded until you can feel like they're actually in one of the 5-star stadiums in Europe. So to me, I think, Miriam, the numbers and the real numbers in that matter should be able to translate into votes. A percentage, a good chunk of them should translate into votes. However, maybe having this assumption, we should also be alive to the fact that some political players have been using rented crowds, and these rented crowds might not be able to translate into votes for them. I submit, Miriam.
Okay, thank you so much. And before we get into the Raila's part, let's look at Wajakoya and Wahiga on page 2 on the Sunday Nation. Roots Party of Kenya presidential candidate George Wajakoya and his Agano colleague David Wahiga yesterday concluded their campaigns with a call to Kenyans to reject leaders who have left the country bankrupt. Professor Wajakoya held rallies in Nairobi with stopovers in High Ridge, Masari Hill, Deep Sea and Westlands. He cited Kenya's rising debt, saying the country's sovereignty and national security have been compromised. Professor Wajakoya said the current crop of leaders have failed the country as they cannot provide solutions to problems they have created. And Mr. Wahiga held his last rally in Eastleigh, Nairobi County, where he called on Kenyans to vote for change. The August 9th elections are the most important since independence. The election will and can right the wrongs we have made for 59 years, Mr. Wahiga said. The Gano Party presidential candidate, who has promised to destroy corruption, the unresolved scandals, the secret contracts and wastage in government, said money to fund government projects has over the years been stolen by the political class. So yesterday they also made their final appeals. And on the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition, presidential candidate Raila Odinga yesterday called on Kenyans to vote for him in Tuesday's elections as he made his final submissions. to voters, speaking to thousands of supporters who had turned up at the Moi International Sports Center in Kasarani, Nairobi, to listen to his final speech. Mr. Odinga said the country was at an inflection point, the point where you just go up, you can't go back. He said that Kenyans will on Tuesday have a chance to decide on their destiny, adding that the Azimio coalition is the only ticket that is able to protect the gains of previous administrations, which also fight for a better future for all. And just below that story, and that is what I want to get your thoughts on, President Uhuru Kenyatta yesterday drummed up support for Azimio la Umoja One Kenya candidate Raila Odinga while on a tour of Mount Kenya, telling residents he is leaving them in safe hands. The head of state, speaking in Othaya, revisited the promise he made to hand over the leadership of the country to Deputy President William Ruto. You know, they supported us at one time. Though there was violence after the general election, you know you can embark on a journey with someone, but along the way realize it will not end up well. Don't remind me of the promise I made. I did not promise to throw people into a ditch, he told his supporters in Kikuyu language. I have brought development to this country from where President Kibaki left. Now it is upon you to decide if you will hand over the country to thieves or transparent people. I have not mentioned anyone, but it is up to you to figure out who I am referring to. So let's just look at, because President Uhuru Kenyatta has been criticized, and I think Gladwell also has been one of those critics who have been criticizing President Uhuru Kenyatta for not coming out outrightly to campaign or to show his support for Raila Odinga. As we know, President Uhuru Kenyatta, now we know he has been busy judging from what has been happening the recent days and the projects that he's been launching and commissioning. Clearly, the president was very hard at work, so that's why perhaps he was not really involved in the campaigns. And so him coming in for the last, I think, few weeks, we've seen him really coming out and urging his supporters and wherever he's been going, even to commission these projects, to support Raila Odinga without mincing his words. Will this change anything as far as Raila's voters are concerned? I'll start with you, Samuel Tawish.
Thank you so much, Miriam. Indeed, we cannot deny the fact that President Uhuru Kenyatta wields so much influence, not only in his central Kenya backyard, but in the rest parts of the country. Understanding that this is a political player who has been in this political field for a considerable period of time, from the time he was nominated as a member of parliament, to the time he became the opposition leader, to the time he became the finance minister and deputy prime minister, and the time he became president for 2 terms, Miriam. So this is not a person you can just wish away and say that his influence has no impact when it comes to influencing which kind of direction the people who listen to him, the people who believe in him, his supporters really would want to know which kind of direction to take. Because in any case, if President Uhuru Kenyatta could not come out and speak openly and give people the direction, especially those who support him or those who have supported him over time, then probably these are the same individuals or a group of people who will come and censure the president in case something doesn't go well after this coming general election. President Kenyatta has served his 2 terms in office. The second term, which is coming to an end in a couple of days as we speak. And therefore, I think it is justifiable for President Kenyatta to come out and give his people and the entire country really direction, because he has not only but been directing or asking the people of central Kenya, but I've seen him really give words of wisdom and trying to encourage people and even try to advise Kenyans at large of the kind of the impact or the consequences of the choice they're going to make on the 9th of August, that is Tuesday next week, Miriam. So to me, this is something that is very, very significant when it comes to swaying the votes, especially in his Mount Kenya backyard, because you understand Deputy President William Ruto has all along but been saying that he has won the entire Mount Kenya region, that he has climbed the mountain and nobody else will defeat him. I think even at some point, William Ruto has assumed himself as the purported kingpin of central Kenya. And that is why you see he works with such kind of bravado. And unfortunately, he's also being allied to by those politicians who are allied to him, the likes of Rigathi Gachagua, the likes of Didi Nyoro, and others who reign from that particular region. So President Kenyatta coming out and assuring to his people that Deputy President William Ruto is a man he knows too well. He's a man he has worked with not only for the past 10 years, but on several other occasions, even before he became president and deputy president. Is a person he knows too well. And the kind of figure that Deputy President William Ruto attempts to portray out here is not the same person that the president really knows him for who he is. And I think it was important for President Kenyatta to come out and tell his people that they do not take this person for what he says. This is a man who comes out in a camouflage, a man who comes out as a person who has the interest of the people at heart, especially those in central Kenya. Take, for example, Miriam. President Kenyatta went to the extent of revisiting the issue of the collapsed BBI, and even saying BBI was meant even to benefit the people of Mount Kenya more than any other part of this country. And the people who vehemently opposed the BBI were none other than led by Deputy President William Ruto himself. And so how can someone really argue or purport that the DP has the interest of the people of central Kenya at heart when he fights the issues or fights a document or a process that was meant really to cure some of the ills and historical injustices, including maybe a low share in as far as the central Kenya population is concerned. So the president really was justified to come out and open up the eyes of the people and open up their minds to get to understand who exactly is the enemy of the people of central Kenya, or perhaps who really has the interest of the people of central Kenya at heart. The former Prime Minister Raila Odinga was really at the forefront fighting for BBI to pass through, understanding too well that it was going to benefit the people of Kenya, and particularly Mount Kenya region, were to benefit in terms of getting new constituencies, in terms of getting more allocations, that is in terms of revenue coming from the exchequer, and in terms of maybe also trying just to balance in terms of the population and what they have been used to getting to into in terms of development. So maybe I'm coupled with all those factors, really, you'll agree with me that President Kenyatta making that very passionate last appeal is going to translate into votes and in favor of Raila Odinga led Azimio la Umoja. And truth be told, Kenyans should brace for Raila Odinga presidency. It's now very obvious. You've listened into the submissions by my fellow correspondents. You cannot quite wish it away, Miriam. Yesterday was really a reflection of what is going to happen come Tuesday next week. How people are going to vote in this country. In fact, even if you are to listen or even read the commentary that the Kenyan people were giving, regardless of where they come from, regardless of their tribe, the commentary that the people were giving was very, very clear that former Prime Minister at long last, that is Raila Odinga, has won the hearts of many Kenyans, if not all. And come Tuesday, the same is going to be justified, the same is going to be rubber stamped, and Raila Odinga is poised really to win this coming general election. So be it, Miriam. The president has a sway, the president has a saying, he has an influence, and the same is going to be reflected come the 9th of August. I submit.
Okay, thank you so much. Samuel Tawish Jevan Karanja with President Uhuru Kenyatta in the recent times, including yesterday, coming out to expressly offer his support for Raila Odinga. Will it make any difference, or is it too late in the day?
Thank you very much, Miriam. And it is very interesting, and the people in Mount Kenya region yesterday were very happy seeing President Uhuru Kenyatta in their region commissioning various projects, because there have been talks in the town that President Uhuru Kenyatta has neglected his region. But yesterday he was very clear that I was busy working when these people were busy here insulting and belittling my capacity. And yesterday he launched a very serious project in Mount Kenya region. And Miriam, the impact of those projects, Miriam, it's only the people of Mount Kenya region who can be a witness how these projects have really changed their way of life, how the Chaka market have really transformed the agriculture around the region, how the rehabilitation of the old meter gauge railway from Nairobi to Nanyuki has impacted and brought about the mushrooming of urban centers along the railway line, and other big business have really come out of these mega projects. On the political part of it, Miriam, I think if there's a politician we cannot underrate in this country, is His Excellency, the President. He remains the head of state, and he remains, I think, the best politician, the smartest politician, the most calculated politician that we have in our country. Look, for example, he came to politics around 2000, but today he is at his sunset days of his political career, because he came, he conquered the political terrain, he became the president before the likes of former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, before the likes of Mudavadi, Kalonzo Musyoka, and William Ruto, who are there in the political arena of our country, way before him, who had 10 years, 15 years of political experience before President Uhuru Kenyatta gave his hands to politics. Therefore, him coming at that moment in time and really outshining big politicians who are known, who have created names way before President Uhuru Kenyatta even thought of becoming a politician, shows that he's a man who is very calculative and is a man who knows what works and what doesn't work politically. And in the issue of Mount Kenya region and whether the visit will have any an impact, Miriam, let me tell you, we have people who still listen to President Uhuru Kenyatta in our region. We have people who are fanatical followers of His Excellency, the President, and his word is final to them. There are people who, by yesterday, maybe they just waited to see President Uhuru Kenyatta step in the region, and they will vote for Raila Amolo Odinga, the person that President Uhuru Kenyatta is dearly supporting. Therefore, at the end of the day, his visit is really impactful. It will really change the political terrain and the way people will vote here in the region, because he remains the political spokesman of Mount Kenya region until he vacates office after the new president is soon in office. Therefore, the visit is very positive, and people have received it with grateful hearts. And Miriam, you see a lot of votes going to Azimio just because of President Uhuru Kenyatta. Imagine, Miriam, if President Uhuru Kenyatta was not supporting Azimio, the support that Raila Amolo Odinga today enjoys in Mount Kenya region, I can greatly attribute it to the effect of Uhuru Kenyatta. Because if Uhuru Kenyatta remained maimed and didn't utter any word in regard to his succession politics, maybe the terrain would have been different, and maybe William Ruto could be enjoying tremendous support in the region. But President Uhuru Kenyatta coming out openly and declaring that he's supporting Raila Odinga, who they have been political nemesis, who they have called names, talked all manner of ill in the character of the former Prime Minister, coming out supporting him overwhelmingly shows that Uhuru Kenyatta is a man who really cares for the interests of Mount Kenya region, and that is why even the polls have been showing that Raila Amolo Odinga enjoys close to 35 to 40% support in Mount Kenya region, and I can greatly attribute that to His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta. Therefore, at the close of business on 9th of August, then Kenyans will come and bear me witness that President Uhuru Kenyatta remains the political kingpin in Mount Kenya region. Thank you.
All right. So while President Uhuru Kenyatta was there, and I think, Jevin, while you were talking, I think you brought up an issue there that I think is very important. It's very interesting that President Uhuru Kenyatta has been very busy commissioning and launching a lot of these developmental projects that a lot of Kenyans did not even know were being done. But he chose to conclude his busy week in Mount Kenya. The significance of that, was that strategic, you believe?
It was very strategic, because this is a region that voted for him to the last man. Therefore, he showed statesmanship and a kind of appreciation just to conclude this political campaign season, and just to end his tenure in office, because there is no any other moment in history of this country we'll see His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta commissioning project in his capacity as the president of this republic. Therefore, I think it was a great gesture to the people of Mount Kenya region who have supported his political career, who put him in office of the president. And I think by him coming and appreciating them and talking in the language that we understand the most, and thanking us and telling us that what he promised during the campaign, he has delivered, and he is very grateful. And he reminded our people that he will still be around. If we need him, he will be around. championing for our interests and ensuring that our region continues getting and tapping a lot of project from the national government, as well as ensuring that the devolution is empowered.
Okay.
Therefore, Uhuru Kenyatta will remain our son. He will be around for any advice, for any consultations, politically or even socially. He will be around here in Mount Kenya region, consulting with his people and giving us direction and putting out where things are going in the wrong direction. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Of course, President Uhuru Kenyatta expressed joy for fulfilling the wish of the late President Mwai Kibaki by commissioning Mwai Kibaki Referral Hospital. He said the facility, which has employed 500 staff members, would benefit people from the entire Mount Kenya region who will be visiting to seek specialized treatment, some of which are only found at the Kenyatta National Hospital currently. And President Kenyatta as well commissioned several development projects in the region, which were initiated during his tenure as president. They include the Kenol-Sagana dual carriage highway, the groundbreaking for a cancer center at Dedan Kimathi University of Technology, commissioning of the Thika Nanyuki meter gauge railway line at the new Chaka railway station, and commissioning of the Chaka industrial hub and market. So I don't know. And of course, what he said there in mother tongue, just trying to rally his supporters to support Right Honorable Raila Odinga. Would this make any difference, Kiptanui? To Raila's?
Yes, thank you, Miriam. Thank you, it will. It will. Miriam, in the next I think the next 3 hours, my brother Jevan Karanja, Douglas, Gladwell, and all the Mount Kenya people will be having an opportunity to watch Uhuru Kenyatta. Uhuru Kenyatta will be live in all the Mount Kenya stations from 6, I think, yeah, from 6 to, I think from 6 there. And they will have an opportunity to listen to him. And Miriam, Uhuru Kenyatta stands still to be the kingpin of Mount Kenya. Somebody in Nakuru, Miriam, told us that people of Mount Kenya will be voting, will be making decisions at midnight of Monday. And they will make actually decisions on whom they are going to vote. Miriam, for the last 4 years, our brother from Suga, William Ruto, has been campaigning in Mount Kenya. And you see, so even during that time when he was used to attend to people of Mount Kenya, issuing wheelbarrow, issuing some other things in Karen. And people from Rift Valley actually was asking themselves, what is happening? Why is it that our son who we sent to come out to go and represent us is not launching anything around here home? And I want to be on record. I don't know when was the last time I saw William Ruto launching anything in Rift Valley. I don't know. Maybe Javan will remind me or Douglas. Why? You know, Miriam, when you are the deputy president, you have a lot of privileges. Why do you think Uhuru Kenyatta now is so proud going and launching these things? When we were supposed to be having these dams, we be having all the projects in Rift Valley, William Ruto was busy looting. And that is why there is a lot of problems. That is why he could not even afford to take people like Alfred Keter, to take people like Kutu, to take people like Kutu, Alfred Keter, and the other people of different opinions. He makes sure that these guys are not taking the ticket from UDA in Rift Valley. But what is happening now is it's a tough contest between the UDA, and I'm very sure, maybe God willing, he tried as much as possible to go to Nandi 3 times in July to convince people to vote for Sud. And you know what? People told him, oh, now maybe what is going to happen is that we'll take care of you up there, we'll be voting for you, but like you continue to expand, because most of the UDA nominations were bungled, Miriam. And the problem is that William Ruto actually was even accused. He was even accused of bungling nominations of 2017 to plant people. You see, I want to congratulate the Jubilee fraternity. The Jubilee fraternity, led by their chairman Morade, their Secretary General Raphael Tuju. And I want to tell them on this television that if they could have done a nomination, William Ruto was ready with money to plant people who will be defeated comes to the general election. And we've seen, and maybe Actually, those people who have William Ruto had landed could have even resigning by now. We've seen many people are resigning and joining UPA. So Uhuru Kenyatta actually is going to take this. Is going to speak on. Is going to speak to his people in Mount Kenya, in the mountain. And by 6, because we might not be understanding the language, German Karanja and others will be translating us. Why is it that Uhuru Kenyatta is going to speak to the people of Mount Kenya? Miriam, is that Uhuru Kenyatta stands to be the kingpin of Mount Kenya. And Mount Kenya must listen what he's going to tell them. He cannot mislead them. He cannot tell them Uhuru Kenyatta cannot afford seeing people of Mount Kenya who trusted him and gave him 10 years of leadership. He gave him and gave him a lot of support going to different directions. And I want to say that the impact, whatever Uhuru Kenyatta is doing between now and Tuesday, is going to bring a lot of impact, because it's people from Kiambu, like my sister Gladwell. What are you going to ask Uhuru Kenyatta you have not done, and you already have the dam over there? People of Mombasa. Last time, my brother Jaman Karanja and my brother Olesina Tarwish and Douglas were very busy in Mombasa, showcasing a legacy and whatever what Uhuru Kenyatta have done. I've also showcased what he has done in East Nakuru. We have SGR, we have railway, we have dry port here in Mombasa. So as long as Uhuru Kenyatta is speaking on whatever he has done, Miriam, it is going to get. It's actually people are winning. We 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 are winning because this is the only time that Uhuru Kenyatta will speak to his people who voted for him in 2013, 2017. As I said on Friday, because actually I was here. By the way, I was here in 2013 in Nakuru. I also voted in Nakuru in 2007, 2013, and 2017. And I've actually studied the politics of this town. I was surprised where William Ruto was, Miriam. Ignore those fake Zoom pictures from Kitumbi and the team. People are nowhere. People are busy in this town. It was unlike 2017 where people were so many. It was like unlike 2017 after the Supreme Court nullified the elections. Uhuru Kenyatta came back to Nakuru and asked the people, "What are you going to do for us?" And we were so many. Yeah, on Friday, I understood why we are 46. And Miriam, we are surprised. Nakuru, as Dr. David analyzed his opinion polls about Nakuru, we were at 46. But I want to tell you, maybe we are almost even 50 by now, because people have known this is the guy who is blaming all the government independent institutions like DCI. If you complain about DCI, if you complain about NIS, if you complain about KRA, about anti-corruption commission and all these commissions, and you're not complaining about IBC, who are the referees. What are you telling people? Which means you are part and parcel of IBC. Miriam, there is one thing I want to say that we've won on this election is that we'll be having a manual register. We'll be using manual register. If William Ruto and his people were actually planning to do their own things, it is not now. So I want to say that it brought a lot of impact. And from tomorrow, I know we'll be having another show tomorrow before Tuesday. After Uhuru Kenyatta will speak to his people, you will see a lot of change. Thank you.
Okay. Sorry. Thank you so much, Kiptanui Gladwell Kirago. As I started there by saying, you're one of the people who were very frustrated by President Uhuru Kenyatta not coming in early enough to directly support Raila Odinga or even campaign for him in Mount Kenya region, because you were saying at that point the residents in Mount Kenya region were waiting to hear what President Uhuru Kenyatta had to say about this, and maybe him campaigning for him during that time would have made a huge difference, especially for the number of people who are not yet decided on who to vote for. And in the recent couple of weeks, like I've said there, President Uhuru Kenyatta has been coming out, outrightly and saying, Raila Odinga is my preferred successor, and please support him and offer him the support. Do you think with the latest moves by President Uhuru Kenyatta, especially in Mount Kenya region, he's been able to support at least a good amount of his supporters to support Raila Odinga's candidacy, and how will that mean as far as the votes from Mount Kenya is concerned? Or is it a little bit too late in the day?
Miriam, let us be honest, since it's on a Sunday. If there's a region that is very difficult, and I'm sorry to say so, I coming from there to deal with is in the Mount Kenya people. We are very difficult to deal with. And at the same time, we are very easily manipulated. But the height and another thing, Mount Kenya is full of hypocrites. Mount Kenya people are hypocrites. Reason being, Miriam, for instance, I can give you an example. You can go somewhere, sit and say that Mount Kenya is giving will vote for William, the UDA, then the UDA team. Somebody there who has been singing the same song will ask you, are you the one who owns Mount Kenya? So you can see they don't even have a stand. That's why I'm saying Mount Kenya currently, we can't believe in what they're saying. We can't even believe in the percentage. The only thing we can believe in is the percentage that would actually occur on Tuesday, because Mount Kenya is a region which is very full of difficult people. And Uhuru coming to Mount Kenya the last days, while it can make at least a 1% difference, yes. But at the same time, despite people saying that Uhuru hasn't worked, I can tell you, for instance, can you go to Gatundu and say that Uhuru hasn't worked? Because in Mount Kenya, in Kikuyu we say Uhuru ne witowe shaira. Like this means Uhuru ni wetu kujizalia. This is what we say. And the same song is still being sung up to date by the same people who are saying that Uhuru hasn't delivered. So what I'm trying to show you is the irony in the Mount Kenya people. And that's why I'm saying for currently, Mount Kenya is a region we can't trust. Because you'll be shocked by, for example, the polls that are there saying that maybe, Ruto will get maybe, let's say like 56% and Raila 43%. You might find it is the vice versa. And that's why I'm saying for the polls of, and for the tally, let us wait for Tuesday. Because Mount Kenya, I've told you, it's a region that is very difficult. And today, as my brother has said, actually, Uhuru will be on all local television and stations at 6. You'll be surprised by how many people listen to him. The same people who still criticizes him. The same people when he was actually opening the Moi Kibaki hospital, the same people who attended to listen to him. So you can see the irony in the Mount Kenya. Mount Kenya, Miriam, it's a topic that when we decide to discuss about, actually we can be lost and we can still be left floating. Actually, Mount Kenya is not like somewhere like Kisumu can go and say that is the Baba region, or maybe somewhere like Mombasa, whereby we can know at least it is 70
Glado,
is difficult.
Mm-hmm. So what has changed? Because a couple of voting years ago, Mount Kenya was not to be voting in one voice and in one basket. So what has really changed? Is it the support of President Uhuru Kenyatta to Raila Odinga, who was considered the biggest nemesis in the region? And also, does Martha Karua, being the deputy of Raila Odinga, thrown the span in the works, confusing the voters? Because Mount Kenya was not to be a very strong voting bloc, and they voted together, as you would look at maybe Raila's backyard and also Ruto's, backyard. Mount Kenya used to be the same. So what has really changed then? Because they never used to, the voters, they're never used to vote like that.
Miriam, very true. Mount Kenya, we are not known to taking sides. But unfortunately, this is the first election I can see Mount Kenya, we are taking votes. Sides. For instance, 2017, there was this slogan of Tunachagua Suti. And that is when the Uhuruto came in. And they had their stand that it is Uhuruto. The same thing to 2013, they supported, and there was no way that they were divided. But now with this one, we can see like we got two Kikuyu who are deputy president, and that makes also a say. We got somebody like Rigathi Gachagua, we got Martha Karua. Again, Miriam, don't forget that the deputy president has actually spent almost 4 of his term in Mount Kenya in particular, and that's why I'm saying the manipulation and the brainwash that has happened in Mount Kenya. Kidogo, it is big, because currently telling somebody to change, and that's why I'm saying even Uhuru speaking, it will just change like a 1%, because the people of Mount Kenya have said There are people who are easily manipulated. At the same time, there are people who are never understood. They can actually give you hopes that they will, but then disappoint you. So the reason as to why there's this separation is because of the two. And as I always say, Kikuyus, we are people who loves ourselves. Now that is the Mount Kenya. We love ourselves so much. For instance, Miriam, let me give you an example. If Ruto chose Mudavadi as his running mate, then trust you me, there would be no separation. There would be no separation of vote. Everybody will be singing Azimio all the way. Only like 10% will be actually in Ruto's side. But now, because we got two, we got Rigathi Gachagua and we got Mother, that is where the separation comes in. And there are people who are diehard fans of Mother. There are others who are diehard fans of Rigathi Gachagua. Now that is where we are coming in. And that's why I'm saying Mount Kenya is a very difficult region, Miriam.
Okay. All right. Complex there. Thank you so much, Gladwell. Daniel Wasonga, your thoughts on President Uhuru Kenyatta and maybe some of the things that Gladwell has brought up there.
Thank you so much, Miriam. And of course, I agree to every bit that my sister Gladwell Kirago has brought out. I agree with my brother, Tanwi Savania, and a majority of Kenyans, Miriam, and especially when it comes to the Mount Kenya vote. One thing I'll always tell you is that President Uhuru Kenyatta is a president, not because William Ruto made him, but because he had a vote basket in 2013-2017 presidential election. Remember, before 2013 elections, President Uhuru Kenyatta was a deputy minister. Who was William Ruto? He had been dismissed as the higher education minister and he was a nobody. So President Uhuru Kenyatta, because of the support base, the full vote basket of Mount Kenya that he had, he called William Ruto on board and he told him, we're going to mobilize, we're going to rally people from your backyard in Rift Valley and across the country to be able to foment our force to reckon with so that we can be able to win the presidency. And that is the basis on which they were able to win the presidency the first time. And in the second term, they were actually able to build on the same and be able to recapture their second term in office. So therefore, Miriam, even these balderdash that is going around that it is William Ruto who made President Uhuru Kenyatta the president does not even have a nexus, It does not have a local standard, that can be used to be able to bring maybe a logical, understanding to it. And to me, Miriam, if William Ruto claims that he's the one who made President Uhuru Kenyatta the president in 2013 and in 2017, then all we have to tell him now is that Tuesday is just a day away. It will be very, very interesting to see how he's going to make himself the president as well. And therefore, Miriam, to answer your question, I believe that President Uhuru Kenyatta, when he speaks, he doesn't speak in vain. He speaks to the millions of supporters who voted him in 2013, who voted him in 2017, and also Kenyans of goodwill, Kenyans of a cool conscience, who are able to decipher between a leader and a dealer. And therefore, when he talks about Raila Odinga and compares him on the other side with William Ruto, and he tells the people of Kenya, if you go with William Ruto, then you're going to be going with a political conman. I want this old man who is truthful and who can keep a promise. Then the people of Kenya will listen. The people of Kenya will see that this is a man who has worked with William Ruto. This is a man who has been the head of state. This is a man who has been privy to the intelligence reports of this country. This is a man of whom the cabinet has been reporting to for more than 10 years now. And therefore, when he says that this and so is not a truthful person, then we have little doubt to cast upon his sentiments. And therefore, Miriam, the silent majority, that is the portion of the vote basket that President Uhuru Kenyatta is speaking to. And believe me, you, Miriam, they are actually the majority, And therefore, if we take this discussion that President Uhuru Kenyatta has been igniting since we had the first Sagana meeting, we can actually say without fear of favor that they're actually going to hold a sway in the forthcoming presidential election. Because people are listening and people will make decisions based on what perhaps their leader is talking about. You cannot just write off a whole president, a sitting president, a leader who hasn't been in power for more than 20 years and say that he doesn't hold any clout. If anything is to go by, I have been reading Dr. Matsanga's articles, and there's a day he actually said, as the time go by, William Ruto is losing grip of Mount Kenya region. That is actually the reality of the matter. And as it stands, he said that they are going to share the spoils of the Mount Kenya region. Now the battlegrounds are going to be the few counties of the eastern part of the country, especially Embu, Tharaka Nithi, Meru. They might actually share 50 on a 50-50 basis. Now, if you tally the numbers as they are, then mathematically speaking, Miriam, it is impossible for William Ruto to defeat the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. And therefore, when President Uhuru Kenyatta goes ahead and also gives his views and his opinion, then it actually now crumbles the cookie towards the Right Honorable Raila Odinga's side. And it's actually an icing on the cake for the Right Honorable Raila Odinga. Therefore, we should not dismiss whichever sentiments or whichever opinion that President Uhuru Kenyatta is giving out there. Remember, some of us are supporting the Right Honorable Raila Odinga ardently because the president, who is the party leader of Jubilee, who we've been supporting for the last couple of years, said that we should look the Raila Odinga way. And therefore, I believe a majority of the folks who have been able to benefit from the legacy projects of the President Uhuru Kenyatta are also going to do a similar, to move in a similar direction. And don't forget that President Uhuru Kenyatta remains the kingpin of Mount Kenya region. He's too young. He's still in his 60s, Miriam. He's not like Mwai Kibaki, who retired in his 80s, and therefore he went and said, now it is enough for politics. I'm going to an early, quiet retirement at home in my home in Nyeri. Uhuru Kenyatta is still very young, and as per his own sentiments, he'll still be around. He'll still be giving counsel to whoever will be the president. And we know that surely, Miriam, the president is none other than Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. I submit.
Okay. Thank you so much. And I believe we've been joined by Douglas Kirimi. I'm not sure. But Douglas, if you can hear me, good afternoon. Maybe not. He's there. Douglas Kirimi, good afternoon.
A very good afternoon, Miriam Ogutu, and also to my co-panelists. Thank you for having me on the show. And I'm sorry that I came in late. I'm in a place where there is no proper network connection.
No problem. Nice
but I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Nice to have you nevertheless. So actually the conversation that we were having is President Uhuru Kenyatta in the recent days, he has been campaigning for Raila Odinga literally when he's going, opening this commissioning and launching these projects. And he's been coming out very forthright saying, I support Raila Odinga and I urge you to do the same. And yesterday he did the same in Mount Kenya. So we were just wondering, will this make any difference as far as, convincing his supporters to offer the same support to Raila Odinga, especially from Mount Kenya? Douglas?
Thank you, Miriam. I believe that it is going to make a very huge difference. And also, for the President of the Republic of Kenya to speak his mind. He has his core supporters. He has people that support him. And also, as a man that enjoys huge support across the country, remember this is a person that was elected to be president for 3 times because of 2017 A and B. The President of the Republic of Kenya commands a huge percentage of the people of Kenya across the country. And these people are the same people that are persuaded that His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta fits to be the man that gives them direction as far as political issues are concerned in this country. I believe from my perspective that it is going to change the fortunes of presidential candidate, the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, and that President Uhuru holds sway in Mount Kenya region, in his own backyard, and even across the country. There are people who have benefited from the administration of President Uhuru Kenyatta, like the women we interviewed and men we interviewed in the coastal region, where the Operation Linda Mama, the program that was initiated by the President of the Republic of Kenya to take care of the mother and child health care, and especially maternity issues, has been able to get into their hearts, and these people almost likely follow the direction of His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta. And I also believe that his traditional backyard, that has always been backing him since he went into politics. These are people, core people who have supported him for so long, for so many years, that he has been running for political offices since 1997 in his backyard, and 2002 when he was running for president. There's a clique of Kanu people who continue getting their directions from President Uhuru Kenyatta. There are people who formed with President Uhuru Kenyatta together, the National Alliance. There are people who formed the Jubilee with President Uhuru Kenyatta. These are people who have been following him wherever he has been going. And I believe, from my perspective and from the way I see things, that things have changed already. That we have a new president in waiting that is going to succeed President Uhuru Kenyatta. A man that commands a huge percentage of Africa. A man that is actually the bona fide leader in our region, cannot be said to have no popularity at home. Even in our own Mount Kenya backyard, there are people like myself who are waiting to hear what the president is saying. But I followed his advice since long time ago, and there are so many people, scholars in the academia, farmers, especially the farmers that have had their coffee revitalized, and also their tea business revitalized, and everything that has been brought to the fore by His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta. I believe that farmers are going to follow en masse his advice and vote for the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, and also make him the next President of the Republic of Kenya. And also, Miriam, I believe, from my perspective, that there are so many people, people in transport business, who have also been benefiting from the infrastructure that he has been able to put up across the country, especially from our own backyard. There are people, Miriam, I had forgotten about that, whose markets have been opened by the President of the Republic of Kenya, and that their Mera deal edges its formation and also its sustenance with the President's commitment, and also to the people that he is going to hand over, are going to vote en masse for Raila Odinga to safeguard those gains. Remember, even the Agriculture Minister, Mr. Peter Munya, hails from the same region of Nyambene, where Mira is farmed, and also he has a sway in the region, and he has told the people that we need to also heed what the president is saying. So, Miriam, I believe it has changed a lot of things, and if things were to stand the way they were 3 years ago, William Ruto would have been ahead. But the president has gone for himself. He has gone into the arena. The president's men that have been entrusted with the vision of President Uhuru Kenyatta have been able to go down to the people in the grassroots, invested everything that they have to make sure that the President of the Republic of Kenya, His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta's successor, is none other than the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, Miriam. So I believe, from a scale of 1 to 10, out of 9, the president has scored whatever he wanted to make sure that he has rubber stamped the victory of the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, and also that his deputy has lost because he has accused him of being a corrupt deputy and because of insubordination and other things, Miriam, that he has said that the Deputy President William Ruto is not qualified to be the next President of the Republic of Kenya. From my perspective and from my end, Miriam, I believe the conversation has changed drastically, that the President cannot trust you if our own man, who has been a President of the Republic of Kenya for the last 10 years, cannot trust you, that you can become the leader of this country, that you can become our president, even after testing power for 10 years. President Uhuru Kenyatta cannot trust you as his own deputy. You cannot amount to be the leader that the people of Mount Kenya, especially Meru and other places, can be able to trust. So, from my perspective and from my end, it is a huge loss to Deputy President William Ruto, that people, a bedrock that he had anticipated, will come and vote for him. President Uhuru Kenyatta has taken a huge chunk and handed it over to the Right Honorable Raila Odinga. It's one day and a few hours, Miriam, to the general election, and I believe that these things, as things stand, Miriam, the next President of the Republic of Kenya is none other than the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, according to my own review, and also to the way the people are responding, Miriam, and also according to the President's last-minute intervention. This thing is done. 50+1. Thank you.
Okay. All right, according to your own review. Thank you so much. So that brings me to my last question of the day. Douglas, you've started for us there. I know, because the panelist is all over different locations in this country, so perhaps your feeling from Kenyans, from where they are, are they anticipating to vote? Are they feeling uneasy where they are? Are they feeling safe? Are there any unusual activities from the different spaces or movements? Are they preaching peace? What is really, are they anxious? Because I've heard so much, and somebody was telling me from who comes from a different, estate in Nairobi, and they're saying, people have been moving. People have been moving. The others who were stuck with their votes in Nairobi because the transportation to go vote in the villages is very expensive and things like that. And others are moving. Others are uncertain whether they will be safe or not. So I don't know what is your feeling on that. And even as we conclude, because that will be your last submissions, perhaps even as we look at the scores yesterday, can we give the scores to Kenyans who, throughout this period, the campaign periods, Kenyans have been able to maintain relative peace and calmness. We've not seen incidences where, like compared to the previous campaign season, and Kenyans have been largely peaceful. So even as we look at this, can we, give this cause and just give it up to Kenyans who all they want is peace? COVID messed up a lot of people's works and opportunities and lives. So Kenyans and of course the rest of the world, you're trying to rebuild. So a lot of Kenyans, those I've spoken to, they're saying, we just need to vote and get back on with our lives because we cannot afford to waste any more time being uncertain or engaging in things that might compromise the peace in this country, because we need to get back to our feet. The country needs to get back to our feet. So I think that is a feeling that I've gotten from the people that I've been speaking to. So I don't know what feeling you've been getting from Kenyans, even as we congratulate ourselves for at least trying to be a bit holding some decorum. We know the politicians have been, the acrobatics and all that, but Kenyans have maintained peace. Kenyans have been calm, and hopefully that will continue even during and after the election. So as we conclude, I'll start with you, Samuel Tawish.
Thank you so much, Miriam. And I think they say give credit where it is due. And watching the events in the lead up to this general election and voting, which we expect to take place on Tuesday next week, you largely agree, Miriam, that the people of Kenya have attempted to conduct themselves with the utmost civility and decorum that really dictates the virtues that we espouse as a people of Kenya. Because again, in the past and the elections you've had, or the campaigns in the run-up to elections you've had previously, we have witnessed a lot of ugly scenes in terms of people fighting, at some point even people being killed, in terms of people even being displaced even before election day. But this time around, things appear to be completely different. And I think the Kenyan population are maturing with time. They're getting to embrace that politics is more of democracy. It is more of just more like just any other competition, where people get into a competition and whoever wins or loses, then we embrace each other and move on. But what I want to stress on, Miriam, is that even in the face of all this, I think it is important for the Kenyan people really to underscore the need and the importance of them going to vote come Tuesday. Because, Miriam, again, there's an adage that goes, failing to vote is not a protest, actually, but it is a surrender. It is a sign of surrender. And the bad leaders are elected by good people who do not vote. So if you go by the two adage, Miriam, you'll appreciate the need for the Kenyan people really to see the need and the significance of going to the ballot on Tuesday and exercise the democratic right by voting in the leaders of their choice and leaders they want to rule them or govern them in the next 5 years. We are complaining about high cost of living. We are complaining about corruption. We are complaining about bad leadership. We are talking about maintaining or continuing the legacy of President Uhuru Kenyatta. We're talking about how we can be able to continue with the peace that we continue to enjoy as a country today. How are we able to improve on our economy? How are we able to improve on our agricultural production? How is Kenya going to continue maintaining or even improve on its robust, of course, foreign policy? All this can be done only if we elect good and right leaders in place come Tuesday. So it is incumbent upon each and every Kenyan, those who are eligible to vote, to go and exercise the democratic right and exercise that duty, solemn duty to vote in the leaders they want to govern them in the next 5 years. We don't do that. We expect that someone else will elect or choose a leader for us. Then we'll be here to gnash our teeth. This is the opportunity for us to do that, and so that we do not regret or complain that we have got bad leaders in place. I mean, in the past we have seen we are the ultimate employers to these politicians. Without us, then when we choose not to elect them, then they will not have a chance to be there. They will not have a chance to be at the policy making table. So it is up to us really to decide who is it that we want to donate the powers to go to the county assembly, to go to the national assembly, to the Senate, to become the governor, to become the deputy president and the president respectively. So that power lies in our hands, Miriam. Let's continue to urge our people that it is important for them to go and cast their ballot come Tuesday. But so far, so good. Kudos to the people of Kenya. The way they have conducted themselves, even in the face of obvious provocation, they have attempted really to remain calm. And I think that is the spirit we need to embrace. We know we have different people we support. Our candidate may not necessarily win. I mean, when I say our candidate, that which you support may not necessarily win. So if they do not win, there's another day really to fight. That is the kind of mindset and the kind of attitude that we must inculcate amongst ourselves and also to our people out there, even as we continue to preach peace amongst our people before, during, and after this coming general election. I submit, Miriam.
Thank you so much. Yes, indeed. Jevan Karanja, is there anything you can report to us from where you are about the movements of Kenyans, their thoughts, and are they excited to be voting on Tuesday? Are they looking forward to that? Are they worried? Are they anxious? And on top of that, how Kenyans carried themselves throughout the campaign season. Jevan? Kiptanui, go ahead.
Thank you, Miriam. As we actually moving towards these elections, we still have only tomorrow so that we exercise this democratic right. I want to call out upon Kenyans to actually exercise their democratic right and maintain peace. As I said earlier, Miriam, the security actually is okay. There is no threat. The security has been maintained. A lot of police officers, a lot of security personnel are around. I want to tell people to actually come out and exercise their right. And Miriam, exercising your right means you just go and vote with the person that your heart is telling you that this is the person who is going to take this country to another height. The person that is going to take this country, a person with an integrity, a person who has not been mentioned in any corruption case, a person who you believe in. Miriam, as we said in this television, this election is between two groups. Those groups which believe in democracy, those groups which believe in the rule of law, those groups which believe in defending the Constitution of 2010, and the other group of thieves, a group of people who have been convicted, a group of people whom if they stood and you see what they are preaching a lot of divisions. So it's upon ourselves as Kenyans, and I want to call upon this our brothers and sisters in this country, Kenya, that elections comes and goes, but the country must remain. And you see, Miriam, there are a lot of people who have been campaigning along the social media and other people. I know there are so many promises that you have been given by your MCA, whom you are supporting, but your MP, whom you are supporting, by your governor, whom you are supporting, the women that you are supporting. And you see, it is not a must that they win. If they win, it's okay. If they will not win, prepare for anything. Because, you see, let us not let me quote what the governor for Wasibishu, Mandago, said, that let us not put this siasa in our hands, let us put it on our lungs. And Miriam, I am confident that this country is headed to another greater height. I have confidence that this country is going to actually meet the development goals that were set long time ago. I want to call upon my people whom we are together in Rift Valley. Let us ignore all these rumors. Let us ignore all this incitement. Let us vote, go home and wait for the results. Let us maintain peace the way we used to do. Sometimes we meet in these villages, We meet in these kiosks in villages. We buy paraffin, we buy tube, we buy everything from these locals. Let us not be incited by politicians who can afford flight. In case of anything, they can flow. They can afford flight and leave this country anytime. Let us maintain peace. Let us go and vote for change. Let us go and vote for Raila Odinga because he has been fighting for this country. He has a lot of development plans for this country, and he will continue taking care of this country from where Uhuru Kenyatta has actually left it. My brothers and sisters who are in Mount Kenya, you have some few minutes to listen to your leader, who happens to be Uhuru Kenyatta. You've seen his leadership since 2010. He cannot mislead you. Wherever he's taking you, whatever he's telling you to do, he knows his deputy has been with him in politics for quite some time before even some of us had an opportunity to vote. Let us actually listen to him. He's still our leader, and let us maintain peace. I submit.
Okay, thank you so much, Kiptanui. Gladwell Kiragu. Gladwell.
Thank you so much, Miriam. I'll start by saying I've always been saying that these are the leaders who are actually coming to us for us to offer them a job. So as a Kenyans, let us be wise. And Miriam, there's a question that you've asked. How is the atmosphere? And let me tell you, to be honest, the atmosphere is kind of tensed, and people actually going home. Reason being, we're not hoping for chaos, but because of the careless utterances of words that have been there for the few months. Let me say so. Mostly from the Kenya Kwanza, and people feared that maybe they are defeated, then they actually not accept the result and will go back to the 207-208. People are still having that in mind. The careless words that the deputy president at times had spit out, people still remember. People have gone home, Miriam, and actually I can tell you very few who actually are within, those who are within are actually where they vote from. I mean, the polling station are actually within Nairobi. Most people have gone home, Miriam. Actually, I was the other day I was in the country bus, and I could see people are even lacking matatos to go to the villages. But at the same time, as I'm saying, as we go to vote on Tuesday, your main agenda is vote, go home, wait for the results. Whoever wins, wins. If there's a rerun, let us accept it, positively. Because you can't fight for somebody, you can't throw a stone at somebody because your particular your choice of maybe the leader you wanted is being defeated. And Miriam, this Salama moment, and I'm glad that yesterday the campaign was over, because for instance, where I come from, Juja, there's this thing of sympathy votes, whereby this last minute you could see people, even the UDA team, the likes of Coimbori team is behaving. They have actually been jailed. They have been released yesterday. You can see this sympathy votes in the term of you're harassing everybody for your leader to be chosen. Let us stop being stupid. Vote wisely. Vote a leader with a vision, not a leader not a leader with anger issues. Vote for somebody you know within the next 5 years we won't regret. A leader who we know within the next 5 years we will see progress not only in our country but also in our counties, and that's referred to everybody who is actually vying for the positions, starting from the list to the MCAs. And then I'm also urging Kenyans, can you stop this mentality of because you are in maybe UDA, you are voting the whole team UDA? Miriam, to be honest, that is the mistake we made 2017, whereby everybody was voting then, Jubilee team. And in some, I'm not talking of the presidential seat, I'm talking of other seats. Because, for instance, there's some people, for example, Nyandarua, they have been complaining for the last 5 years about their governor, about their women rep. Even the senator who went missing. In Kiambu, we got somebody like Kemanu Amatangi, who just actually, he just surfaced. And he was quiet for the last 5 years. The only thing he has been doing is the distribution of the tanks. So as we also go to vote, look for the right candidate who you are going to vote. Let this time not to semen wakati wa chama. No, vote for somebody you know that is the best leader, whether independent, whatever. But as for the presidential team, we are voting blue.
Okay, thank you, Glado. Daniel Wesonga.
Thank you so much, Miriam. And of course, speaking after my fellow panelists have really been able to exhaust the field, I'll just urge Kenyans to vote for peace and also come out in large numbers to elect the right leader for president. And it has never been any serious, it has never been quite a moment where a nation is actually called upon to make a moral choice of electing between a leader and a dealer, between a liberator and an oppressor, between agents of peace and progress and development and the agents of plunder, corruption, and impunity. And it's so quite clear, barely even are they into office than we have started seeing cases actually haunting them. Right now, Rigathi Gachagua is a convict, because the money is the 202 million, which the Asset Recovery Agency actually found to be proceeds of corruption, have to be forfeited back to the state. And therefore, that tells you even before the march begins, you already have elements of corruption on the other side of the political divide. So therefore, it is a clarion call to the people of Kenya to come out massively, to come out in large numbers, to wake up quite early with the Firimbi movement and be able to go and vote for Raila Odinga, Martha Karua ticket, so that we can be able to continue with the legacy of President Uhuru Kenyatta, so that we can be able to grow a prosperous nation, a united nation, a nation that actually respects the rule of law, a nation that actually prides itself in integrity and all the aspects of being fair to each and every one of its citizenry. So therefore, Miriam, to me, it will just actually be an urge to go out in large numbers and vote wisely, and also ensure that in voting wisely, we do maintain peace, because elections will come and go, but our country will remain. I submit.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Daniel Wesonga, indeed. Douglas Kirimi.
Thank you, Miriam. I believe that
we can't hear you, Douglas. Can you hear me, Douglas? Good afternoon. Okay, we seem to be having a bit of a challenge, but I see there's also somebody else on the panel. I'm told it is Paul Nyango. Paul, good afternoon. Yeah, sorry, I could not tell who that is, but go ahead. I know you've been listening, so maybe you could make your comments on some of the things that we've been discussing, and then you give your final score on how Kenyans have behaved during this campaign season, and perhaps what it is that you can report to us where you are and how the voters are behaving as far as Tuesday is concerned.
Okay, what I can say, that those of us who have decided to go up country because their votes, they registered in the respective rural areas. Many of them were flocking at the bus stations beginning the other day. I think most of them have gone to vote. Around the places we are staying, there's relatively peace. People are, they're happy to see the day come. They vote for their leaders they prefer. What I can say about there's a topic you earlier talked about, the president move within the central region. I think the president is about to leave, and he's making, maybe I can call it a strategic move, because he wants to have a stake in the next government, where he would prefer, he's the outgoing president, he has his region to be part of the government. Not that he's the outgoing, yet his region is out of government. So he's making a last move to appeal to the electorate. There are some people who can listen to him. They can make their change, given that there are a few projects he has gone around opening, can still speak to them to change the tide. That's why the president is taking his last minute, going around or maybe making a call
clarion call through the radio stations, such that the majority of the Mount Kenya region may have something in their mind to change from the direction which many of them might have taken for some good period of time during the time he has been the president. So I think it's just making sure that when he leaves, he has stuck to them. When he leaves his region within the government, because the projects which are still continuing will continue to be done until they come to completion. So what I would say, I'm also looking forward to vote within Nairobi. I'm peaceful. I'm talking to my neighbors. Even people who don't support my side, I'm trying to convince them. Even people from other sides, they're trying to convince me. But we are just relatively calm. I'm not seeing anything that can cause alarm. That's my take.
All right, thank you so much, Paul Onyango, and thank you so much, Samuel Tawish, Jevan Karanja, Kiptanui Sevane, Gladwell Kiragu, Daniel Vasonga, as well as Douglas Kirimi. Hopefully we can meet here tomorrow, God willing. And as tomorrow, we just have one day to go. I mean, we started counting last year, the other year, and now it is finally here, just one day to go before Kenya goes to its general election. That is on 9th of August 2022. On Tuesday, and Kenyans will set to elect their new leaders, especially the presidency, as President Uhuru Kenyatta has served his second and last term according to our constitution. So we've been talking, and I think at the end of the day, Kenyans will have to decide who they want to take over after President Uhuru Kenyatta. So tomorrow we will be looking at some of the timelines as far as the judiciary is concerned. Should there be anybody who feels they have been aggrieved or they have something and they want to go to the courts, we shall be looking at the timelines and how that will work out, and perhaps the judiciary preparedness. My name is Miriam Ogoto. This has been Africa Showdown, and I want to thank you so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow, God willing. Bye-bye for now, and thank you so much for watching.